just went out there and I researched it for a week, and it, of course, at that time I knew that they had just won the Golden Clown in Monte Carlo, and at that time I also knew that when you win the Golden Clown, then the big circuses and the big people, they will stand in line to make contracts with these great artists, right? So I knew that that could be a threat to the alliance. Of course, I didn't know that it will come to a split between the couple, but I knew that the first turning point could be whether he would succeed in trying to get the family to the United States, right?
Was there a point in filming where you were like, now we have even more of a story because of the epic love story? Was there a point where you kind of turned and looked at what was happening and were like, this is even more of a full movie?
Of course, I knew when the split, you know, not to be too cynical, but
I guess I mean because we talked a little bit about the ending and how it's not always what people expect it to be. So I wonder if there was a point where you were like, I wonder how this is going to turn out, or.
Of course, I think the last couple of years, or for many years, I've been making these kind of documentaries that takes a long time. So it's always filled up with ups and downs, and wow, now I'm going to commit suicide, and then you go to the editing room, and now it will never become a movie. This, and so of course you have all this. I can't say a specific point now. I know that there is a story. I think in the beginning, I was trying to work very hard at trying to get behind, let's say, these the thick makeup and the fake eyelashes. That was very tough for me in the beginning, because you know these people they are used to appear in magazines and all this. So every time when you go back there, you just, hey, now we start over again, right? To go behind the scene or go behind the makeup, right?
Okay, I'm going to open it out to, is there, over here?
Yeah, hi. Great movie. I was curious whether you were hoping for them to get back together, given that, of course, that he's quote-unquote romantic, but he was also, had a pretty bad temper, so I wondered what you were hoping for.
So the question was, what were you hoping for as the resolution with the couple, as it would be romantic that they would get back together, but it also seemed that he had a bad temper?
Actually, I think, as I mentioned just before you saw the movie, that this is also a story about how the modern world clashes with the old-fashioned world in Circus. So actually, I think Mary Lou, she explains it when she says, okay, I've always been doing everything I could to make other people happy, and now I'm thinking about myself, right? And so for me, I think it is a happy ending in the sense that they come along by themselves. And if it was a fiction movie, then he would stand, oh, please come back, and she will say no, and she will jump into the ocean and swim. And so this is real life, and real life doesn't always consist of happy endings. But for me personally, I don't think that she was really ever in love with him. So I think it is a happy ending that she actually fights for her own will. Okay, we are the new generation. We'll stay in Circus. We'll work with Circus because that's what we are meant to be. But we also are going to define in what way we are going to do it. I think if you would go 30 or 50 years ago or back, then maybe the parents, they would just have tried to force them to stay together, right? But they didn't. And there was never a scene or a situation where I felt that they were going to push very hard on them. They were very sad about the situation, but they were never. So anytime when people say this is an arranged marriage, no, it's not. There are also real feelings here, but it's a huge pressure. It reminds me maybe about how it was to live at the countryside in Denmark 100 or 150 years ago. Hey, you better marry the thick girl here because her father, he owns the land just beside us and he has 50 cattle and so on. So it's, go ahead, love will come later.
Up here?
Did you ever get a sense, though, just sort of continuing on that theme, that they might pull the plug on your movie because there's just too much drama going on?
Yeah. Did you ever guess that they were going to shut down the idea of you filming them just because there was so much drama going on between the families?
But yes, of course. But it's what I just mentioned before, that it is filled up with ups and downs, but I always, with the Caselli family, I every time when they went into this old-fashioned view on the issue, I was just, hey, listen, Mary Lou hasn't done anything wrong, right? So of course, it just to my answer will be yes. That of course you're always very frightened that you have to stop the movie and to stop filming. Of course, that is a daily struggle, right?
Down here.
What is the sort of current popularity of the circus? I noticed some of your scan shots. There was a lot of empty
no
seats,
audience. Yeah.
but I saw her drive off in a Mercedes in a fancy trailer, so I was trying to figure out how all that works and how that all happens.
Yeah, so the question was about the current popularity of the circus, because there were a lot of kind of empty seats.
Oh, they are going through very hard times. It's very difficult to be a judge here, but I think they will. I know last year, for the first time, the circus directors, they have an association, and they went to the cultural minister to say, hey, we need help, and it's a very, very big thing for them to say we can't do this alone. We need some government support or something, right? So it is very hard, and as you see, you won't see many traveling circuses around, and you definitely not see many families working like the Caselli family is traveling around.
Will they be in Hungary for some time, or will they just hook up with somebody else?
The part 2 has already started in the sense that when she moved to Hungary, the director of the Hungarian circus, he has a son, and he has proposed to her. So part 2 has already started, and in the circus tradition, it will be that she will go with his family, and they will might leave, and then they will stay with the family of the son's coming wife. It's very traditional.
Right here.
I have to say the editing just blew me away, the way the narrative went. And considering the confined spaces you had to work in, I was very curious. How many cameras did you have to cover this? Because it seemed you always had the perfect shot.
So the question was about how many cameras you used to cover it, since it felt like the editing was quite strong, and it seemed like you always had the perfect shot to cut to.
But I did my utmost just to show you the best shots. So there are a lot of filming that you're not seeing. Actually, I'm a director that are filming myself. I filmed around 80 to 90% of the movie, and I used Canon C300 with a wide angle, and that fits into these caravans. So but of course it's very tough work. It's just interviewing and filming, and so. Of course, it requires also a lot of filming and staying there a lot of time, a long time, day and night.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
There's a question right here.
Can you tell us a bit about what it felt like to find the home movies?
The question was, can you tell us a bit about what it felt like to find the home movies of them, their home movies?
How I did? Oh.
What it felt like when you found them?
Oh, kind of. I had an assistant, and there was a PR guy who was living in the countryside, and he just gave me 2 boxes, and with all these different formats from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and I said, go through it, and then said, hey, I think I found something with Mary Lou and Patrick when they were children, so it was just, wow, amazing, and that's the reason why I also use this as a key scene, right, where you see that she's standing at the side. But the black and white footage that you see, that was from a documentary made in the 56, around 58, 59, maybe 61. But these are circus people, so they like to film themselves, and so that there were a lot. And of course, the thing was, actually, the problem was that why do you find us so interesting, Anders? Because you are interesting, and you are fantastic. So that was, they didn't understand why I was so interesting in this when Alexia Caselli, where she was doing the horse trick. And I was very much into to try to repeat the routines. When you see Patrick, the same way as the father does, and they do the same things and so on, right? So that was helped me to, let's say, to confirm this traditional and all the routines that just go by generation and generation, right?
Over here.
Great movie, by the way. Very enjoyable. When you're making a movie,